I'm pregnant, but he's not ready. What do we do about it?
Ooh, even hearing those words, you're pregnant, gets me excited.
I'm not pregnant.
I do think Katie B is pregnant with twins right now. I don't know why. I have a hunch.
I'm not pregnant.
It's
and
Brock and Billy.
Brock and
cooking
Billy?
up in the womb right
You think
now.
it's twin boys?
Brock and Billy.
Okay, actually though, if I was pregnant with twins, we would look back and be like, this is wild. Like,
Wouldn't that be crazy?
I do have to say, I can't.
What do you have to
I can't
say,
say I'm
actually?
not pregnant because I really don't. I don't think I'm pregnant.
Anyways, today we're answering your relationship advice questions and...
Are we qualified for this? I don't know. We've been
I don't know
married
if
3
we're
years.
qualified for this.
Actually, I think we have a great relationship, so we're very qualified. But like,
Do as we say, not as we do.
I actually
No, actually, wait.
I feel like do as we do.
Yeah, probably don't do as we say, but we're here to talk about relationship questions, and if you appreciate any of our advice, then sweet.
Yeah. So a little background on us. Obviously, most of you guys know our entire story, but we've been together almost
We're
6
brother
years
and
now.
sister.
Josh, what the? I would just exit out of this video at this point. Honestly, unsubscribe, turn off
For
that
real.
notification bell. Just get out of here. Anyway, we're gonna give you guys our best advice.
Yeah, we've
on
been together for
relationships.
6 years, married for 3 years. We
Mhm.
have a 9-month-old baby, and
I feel like I don't want to say we've gone through ups and downs, but we've gone through different things, like from being engaged and married and
we
having a
work
kid
together.
We work
own
together.
businesses together.
We're together 24/7, so we're gonna. give you
She's
guys the best
obsessed
advice.
with me.
You're coming home with me.
Which actually comes to our first question,
Okay.
which is, what do I do if my girl is too clingy and I need some alone time?
Is that really it? I feel like being clingy isn't that bad.
The
It's
word
really-
clingy is definitely like not a positive term.
You should want to be with someone who wants to be with you all the time, but then is also okay with their own time too. So it's like I'm clingy with Josh and Josh is clingy with me, but like he goes and he'll go skydiving or he'll go golfing by himself, and like that's totally okay.
Yeah.
Or
I would
like
say,
I'll go do something and you're not like, you can't leave me.
yeah, to me, clingy is like for example, I play hockey on the weekends because I joke, I'm like, oh, you're gonna come to my game, blah blah blah. But she hasn't because obviously we have a child.
Yeah.
But I feel like clingy would be like, no, I have to be there. I'm gonna do this. Or I
Yeah.
guess that might not be the best example, but like if like I couldn't go golf like without you just having to be there.
I think in reality, the short answer is you want to be with someone who wants to be with you, but if they don't let you be away from them, then that's not healthy. So that's the answer for that. Okay, next question.
I'm in love with a married man. I feel like you should have read that one. It didn't feel right.
You're-
It just didn't feel right.
Oh, you heard it here first. That one's tough just because I
These
feel
are
like
tricky ones. There's some tricky ones in
it's
here.
best to walk away from the situation if they're married. Every situation's different though. I
It's
don't.
hard to say. All of these are gonna be so unique.
That
But
one
I was
could be
gonna
very
say,
unique.
yeah, if they're married, like maybe I would move on,
Yeah.
But obviously, if you're in love with them, there's got to be some kind of. I don't know. Are you friends? Like,
Yeah, like, what's going on?
Is it,
There's
is
more
it your
to
best
the-
friend's husband?
Here's the
like,
thing.
tell me that. I need
That
more
that
info.
question is not enough because there could be so much to the story.
Yeah,
so
I need
I'm gonna need a
more.
new question.
I need more info on that. But like, just off the top of my head, I'm like, just move on.
Yeah, maybe not the one.
What if they're like, it's you? It's Josh.
Oh no. It's me. I feel like PS, it's you, Josh.
Next one is, how do I know if my relationship is healthy? And I thought that was actually a good question because I feel like one person in a relationship could be so happy, but like the
Yeah.
other person maybe couldn't be.
Well, one thing, it's really hard to, if it's your first relationship, to know what's healthy and what's not because you've never experienced anything. But I think it's based off of how that person makes you feel. Or if you're crying all the time over that relationship, it is not a good relationship. Looking back at my first relationship I had when I was in high school, I thought it was okay. I was like, oh, this is what happens, you fight with your boyfriend. But I was like crying like at least once a week, probably like a couple times a week. But like, I'm like, we don't fight like that to where I'm
No.
crying multiple times. Like, it's just, I think it's like how you feel. How does that relationship make you feel? Does it make you feel like a healthier, happier person? Or does it make you feel like stressed out? Like, oh, I don't want to go to this party because I'm worried that he's going to get mad at me. If you're always worried about the other person getting mad at you or upset with you, then maybe you're not in a healthy relationship.
Yeah, and then I would say if there's trust issues or not trust issues, like, do you always feel like you need to check the other person person's phone because you're worried about what they're doing? Are you always checking their location because you don't trust that they're actually going to the place that they're telling you they're going? Or
do you feel like they're hiding their phone? Different things like that. I feel like if you have that sense of like, are they cheating? Are they doing this? Then it might not be the healthiest relationship. And maybe it's not even them. Maybe it could be you a little bit too. Maybe it's insecurities from your past relationship that you need to work on. It doesn't mean that it's not the right relationship, but it does mean that you do need to take a look at like, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel like I need to check their phone? Have they given me a reason? And if someone hasn't given you a reason and you're doing that, then it probably is just you know?
I agree. And communication is key. You gotta have good communication and always be talking and making sure that you guys are fulfilling each other's needs.
Yeah, and be open and honest with your significant other. Just you want to make sure you guys are on the same page. And one thing I really recommend too is like talking about like your future and your goals of what you want your life to look like in 5 years, to make sure it aligns with that person, even if you're just starting to date, because it's like, don't waste your time dating someone that like has a completely different vision for their future than what you want.
I agree 100%. What are signs that it might be time to end the relationship?
I think toxic behavior, jealousy, what else?
Lose that spark maybe. Well, it depends like how deep of the relationship you are, but like if you guys just started dating and you already are kind of over it, and then like you're not feeling that bug, the love bug anymore.
Yeah, but I also feel like a spark can also be like worked towards, because it's like, why are you not feeling that spark? Like, is there something deeper that like, I don't know, like I would just look at their behavior. Have they given up on the relationship? And if like one person's given up and like you just keep trying and trying, then maybe it's time to end it and move on. Tough.
That's tough. How do we keep the spark alive in our relationship?
I think being flirty, little small things go a long way. Even like obviously we've been together for a bit now. It's like just writing like little love notes, being goofy and silly together. Like sometimes, like literally yesterday or the other day, we were like feeding Sky and we like our baby, and like we were acting so stupid. Like if anyone had a camera recording us, we'd probably be so embarrassed because we were literally like just acting like little like 6-year-olds and like just running around screaming VeggieTales and like just stupid, silly things that I feel like, I don't know, to me that makes our relationship stronger.
I think you always got to remember where you started and like
why you fell in love with that person.
Build off that stuff and just always look back on that and then continue to grow and do the things that make you happy with the other person.
Don't forget to like appreciate the other person and thank them for things that they do, because I think over time like things get overlooked. So it's like always nice to have words of affirmation of that person, be like, oh wow, thank you so much. Or even just like complimenting how they look. I feel like in the beginning you do that all the time, but towards like later in the relationship you forget to do all those things because you're just with that person, you get used to that person, and that's when I feel like the relationship can get stale. So it's like thanking them, complimenting them, and just like putting in that little effort, like, oh, maybe I'm gonna wake her up with some coffee before she gets up, or oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get her flowers. I took notes. But like little things like that, I feel like just to show someone that you still care, it goes a long way.
No, that's a really good point. I like those. Katie's dialed, honestly.
Honestly, I could be like
a relationship therapist.
Hit me with the next one. I'm ready to go. Josh is like, okay.
We were on a podcast one time with a couple, and literally all the comments, this is before we ever even did podcasts.
They were basically on their way to break up.
And all the comments were like, Katie, we should be a therapist. Like, you were dialed.
You know,
she's got good advice and she's quick with it. I like it. How do you rebuild trust after it's broken? Depends how you break the trust.
I don't know, because honestly sometimes trust can't be rebuilt. Like it can be to a degree, but if there's like cheating, I feel like that is really hard to rebuild trust.
Again, these are so situational. There's so many different like things that happen and things that go into it, but it's like, to me it's always like for example, say someone cheated. To me, like if someone was gonna rebuild trust for myself, it'd be like, okay, what are they gonna do to change? You know, like it's not like just them telling me like, oh, I'll never do it again, It's like,
what steps?
Okay, like where did we go wrong, and then what steps are we gonna take to like make sure something like that would never ever happen again? And then obviously there's more in-depth scenarios. And
the problem too is sometimes like with cheating is like once you break a certain level of trust, whether that couple stays together or not, it's never going to be the same, and you're kind of just like damaging a relationship. So there's certain things that can't be undone. Even if you stay together, it's still going to like deteriorate the relationship. So that's why you always want to be very careful with like things that you do and like the behavior you act. But I also think like certain things like small like white lies, it's like even lying to people like breaks trust. But I think that like actions over time is the only way to build trust.
True. I will say lying is one of my like biggest.
Lying, betrayal.
Just because why lie, you know, especially I'm even thinking like for Katie and I'm like, we know everything about each other.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
so it's like when it's getting to the point where now if she's lying to me, I'm like, what are we lying about?
Well,
like,
then you're like, what
happened?
else are you lying about? Like, wait, I thought we were on the same page. Like, I thought you could trust me. So it really does hurt, I feel like, if someone lies. So yeah.
So gotta be honest. What do you do if you want a baby and your partner isn't willing?
Ooh, that's hard. I mean, because you don't want to force someone to have a
No.
kid that when they're not ready for a kid. But I will say, truly, I feel like you're never 100% ready for a kid. But I also do feel at the same time as
You
like,
don't think so?
Actually, no. After I said
Yeah,
that,
I was
kind
gonna
of
say.
lied.
what are
I
you
literally
talking
said
about?
that, and then I was
we
like,
were like 100%.
no, but that's what everyone
ready.
says. And then I guess I was just saying.
I think the saying is like you're never 100% like prepared.
Yeah,
because you don't
prepared.
know what's gonna come.
You're never
but like
prepared.
we were 100% like
Yes,
mentally
yes,
like
we
we
were-
both wanted a kid.
Yeah, that's true. But I also
This is
feel
more
like,
so like she or he wants to have a baby and the partner doesn't.
all I'm saying is
That's
what I
the
meant by
difference.
that is I feel like there's been people who are like, some people are like, oh, I don't ever want a kid, and then they have a kid and they're like, oh my god, I didn't even realize, like, because you really don't know until you know. But the thing is, it's hard to make someone or convince someone to have a baby if they're not ready, because if they're not ready, they're not going to be a good help, and it's going to make your life a lot harder. But at the same time, it's like, is that your only option to ever have a kid? So like, I don't know.
And I guess to me it's like, why aren't they ready? Are they in school right now in college and they're working a full-time job and they're just never gonna be home? So it's like in their head is like, hey, like we're not ready right now. Now's not a good time for us. Because to me, like certain things like that,
Yeah.
like, it makes sense.
Or do they never want kids? Because if they never want kids and that's like a dream of yours, like that's something that I think you need to take a look into your relationship.
Yeah,
Just
but
because-
you definitely don't want to force someone,
No.
or like if your partner doesn't want to have a kid yet.
No, you want to get them
You
on
want
the
to
same
both
page.
be ready. You know, it would be ideal. Like obviously everything happens in God's timing, so everything will always work out. My husband's family and I don't get along.
Tough. Well, I feel like via like things I've seen on TikTok, like it's kind of like not common, but it's not uncommon, because it's like when you grow up one way, your husband grows up a completely different way, and now you're trying to like create your own family and then mesh like different family values. Like some families are so different, so it can be really hard, and then there can be toxic father-in-laws, mother-in-laws. It's just a weird dynamic. So I think that the best thing is to do is, one, to make sure you and your husband are on the same page, and then obviously still remember, even if his family treats you bad, that they're still his family, so you have to remember that. But also your husband should protect you in a degree depending on how his family's treating you, because ultimately now that you're married, that is the family, that's your family. That's
True.
most important. But out of respect for your husband, you still have to treat his family really well, just because it's like that is his family and that they mean so much to him, and now that's your family as well. Even if they don't treat you right, that doesn't mean you just have to like take it all, because your husband should defend you. But
yeah, the family dynamic is so interesting.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we're both blessed to not have any issues, but
Yeah.
knock on wood. No, but I just, it can get so interesting because there's so much. I'm only imagining like when we're like older and then our daughter like gets married, and then like,
yeah.
you know, I feel like we're always gonna want to see our kids, and like then want to see grandkids. It's like, I'm sure it can get tough.
Oh
But
yeah.
what do I do if my boyfriend hasn't proposed?
This is tough. I feel like a lot of girls go through this though.
Yeah.
And like, I don't really know what to say to that, just because it's like each relationship's so different. It's like, why aren't they proposing? Maybe they're just not ready. I mean, it is a huge commitment to marry someone. And I think sometimes girls get very eager, and there's been girls I've known who are like, why didn't they propose? Why didn't they propose? Then they end up breaking up a few years later. I'm like, well, it's kind of good that some guys are a little more apprehensive to proposing, because I think sometimes girls can get a little too eager and want something so bad that they might miss some of the red flags. And sometimes I think I'm like, yes, I totally think it's like when you know, but you want both people to be on the same page. Because like, even like some people be like, oh, we're waiting so we're like financially like totally stable. And it's like, I get that, but also like, can't you struggle together as a married couple? It might make it harder, so it just depends on each situation. But I don't think you always have to
True.
wait for marriage, like for like long down the road to be like, because nothing's ever gonna be perfect in a marriage. Like it's not, if you're waiting till after college or something like that, yeah, I totally understand. in. But if you're waiting to hit some financial goal or something like huge, it's like you guys can grind together. You guys are a team. So it's like you can be in it together. It just depends how your relationship
I
is.
feel like it's a communication thing too, you know, what's the reason, or are you guys on the same page? Have you guys only been dating for a couple months?
Have you guys been dating since you were in high school?
I feel like the main one I always hear is like that financial thing.
Yeah.
Is like, oh, like our finances aren't ready, which obviously, like, I understand having weddings are expensive, but obviously you could do them cheaper, or there's a lot that goes into that. But and proposing's expensive. Oh my god.
It is
rings
pricey.
are expensive. There's a lot that goes into it. And I will say, as a guy, I think a lot of times it's not even that maybe the guy doesn't want to propose. There's a lot of pressure.
There's a lot of
it's
pressure.
It's gotta be the proposal's gotta be good. It's gotta be the right ring. Obviously you gotta buy the ring.
It's a lot. So yeah, it's kind of hard because it's like you also don't want to force someone to propose you and keep bugging and bugging them and take away that moment that's supposed to be special just because you're like forcing them to do it. But yeah, each situation is a little different. So that one's kind of hard to like fully answer.
If you were the girl, would it ever come to a point?
No,
where
I'm not proposing.
Proposed?
I'm not proposing. No.
Does that happen often? I've never seen that, but like I know I've heard of.
No, I'm not doing that because if a guy wants to be with me, he's gonna get on one knee and he's gonna propose.
Yeah.
Like you did.
I did do that, so here we are. Oh my god, this one's juicy.
Oh.
My best friend is sleeping with my fiance.
I don't think she's your best friend.
Yeah, I have no comment. I would move on. I would never talk to either of them again. That's tough.
If your best friend sleeping with your fiance,
I don't really have advice.
One, I'm sorry, because that's gotta be like the biggest form of betrayal. Not only your best friend, but your fiance. Like the two people in your life who you should trust most just like betrayed you. So I am truly really sorry because that is super, super painful. But I think I would just remove myself from both of them.
Yeah.
Just have a fresh start.
You don't want those toxic people in your life.
No.
Yeah, I'm sorry, honestly. That's
tough.
gotta be hard. This leads us to the beginning of the video.
Oh god.
I'm pregnant and he doesn't want another baby or isn't ready.
You're pregnant?
Shut up.
He's pregnant. Okay, so if you're pregnant and he doesn't want another baby, here's my...
Or isn't ready. Well,
put the video to him. Sack up, it's too late. Like, you're gonna be a dad.
Clearly it was taking the action. So you know actions have consequences.
I don't even want to say consequences because it's a blessing.
I feel like consequences is definitely a frowned upon word, but like you know what I'm trying to say. You're doing the actions, so you know, take responsibility for what you're doing. And it's a blessing to have a child, so you know, thank God and be the most supportive husband you can be. But she's asking us what she should do about it though, so.
I mean, there really is nothing you can do because it's all up to him, because it's like he's gonna have to be the one that's gonna come around. If it is his first, is it the first kid? Could be his first kid. The thing is like, I will say, I've heard like lots of stories of guys who are like, oh my gosh, like I'm not ready to be a dad, blah, blah. They kind of freak out. They're a little bit maybe mean to the girl who's pregnant. And then once they're like, have the baby, they come around and they realize like what a life-changing and gift thing that a baby is. So like, maybe give it some time, but also it's hard because I know you're pregnant and you probably have like all these hormones, your body's changing and you want someone who's supportive, but just remember too, it might be a little hard for him. But I feel like girls are always so much, they're like, look, this is what it is. Like, that's how I am. I'm like, if you're pregnant, it's like, there is no like, oh, I shouldn't have done this or that or that. It's like, no, this is where you're at and we're gonna make the best of the situation. So why don't you maybe just try and convince him, be like, this is what it is.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, congrats. Honestly, having a baby is the best thing in the world. It is so life-changing, and I think that once he sees the baby, has the baby, even like throughout the pregnancy, he's gonna realize that, and it's all gonna work out for you just because the babies are such a blessing. So
this is relationship advice and therapy with yours truly, Katie B. You know, you have wise words.
Thank you.
I do feel like Katie does give really good relationship advice, and even like I'll be on the phone with friends at times, and like Katie will chime in.
I cut in and I'm like, no. But yeah, I basically just always grab the phone from Joshy B and I'm like, give me that. Let me talk to him.
And she gives good advice. It's always good information. So if I ever need advice, I'm gonna go.
Relationship advice?
I'm kidding.
What? No.
I thought you were pulling me for a kiss. What was that?
I was just pulling you into. Alright, anyway, we love you guys. We'll see you guys in the next video.
Peace.